Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So, is this situation getting way out of hand? And can we stop and or change the direction it's going in? A lot of cities, like New York City, are being overran or overrun by migrants. The situation is getting well out of control. I love how YouTube is demonetizing any videos where you talk badly about migrants. Whatever. This video has to get out because it's enough already with what's going on. And every day I look at the newspaper or look at the news or just walk outside, there's something going on or getting worse with the city in regards to the migrants being here in New York. Now, here in New York City, the migrant gangs are pretty much running the streets. At least they're getting up to that level. There is a Moped gang here in New York City where these guys are robbing people right off the moped. So they're riding by and snatching phones out of your hand, purses off women's shoulders, bags off of dudes, backpacks, whatever it is. They are holding people, and a lot of the times they're just snatching it and going. They're not legitimately getting off and robbing you per se. In some cases they are, but a lot of the times they're just grabbing shit and going. So we have that going on. We have scams out the wazoo being run. We have migrants begging door to door by whatever shelter area they live near. There are push-in robberies that are starting to increase. They are pickpocketing left and right. And then they're running, and when they pickpocket you or they take your phone, by the way, they're hacking your phone and getting your financial information off of that and sending money to different accounts outside the United States. All of that, guys, and now we have migrant gangs taking over the streets and taking over certain neighborhoods. In fact, MS-13 and the Venezuela gang, can't pronounce the name, but this is the name here, they're teaming up and recruiting more migrants. And this is getting worse. Now, the Moped gang, one of the leaders or the ringleaders of it was arrested for doing something stupid in Macy's. I think he was stealing or something like that. He got caught doing that. And he states to the police officer that this is way bigger than me. In fact, guys, this is running across a few states. And I know Florida is one of them. So Jersey, New York, and Florida. And there's a fourth state. I can't remember right now. But still, guys, this is spreading. This is getting worse. These guys are coming across the border, carefree, with no resistance, coming straight to cities like New York, because they know cities like New York or cities that are in California, they know that they're not going to get arrested. And if they do get arrested, they're going to get kicked loose almost immediately. As we saw with the guys that beat up the police officer, they were released almost immediately. But what did they do? They hightailed it out of here, and then they got caught in Texas doing something else. So still, guys, I find it interesting that this is all going on. Politicians are watching this unfold, and they're doing nothing about it. You got Eric Adams, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, pleading for help, but not really doing anything like turning the cops loose, letting them have at it. You got Hochul pleading for help to Biden, and again, not changing any laws around or trying to change any laws around. And she could change a lot of these laws around, and she doesn't. That shows me, guys, that of course these people are part of the problem and they're part of the plan. And the plan is to have these migrants run rampant all over the world. Now, the migrant problem, guys, is not just here in the United States. It's also in Ireland, which has been going on for years. It's in France, which has also been going on for years. The UK, Japan, I just read about, they have a Kurdish immigration problem there. There's an island. Italy is having a problem, but there's a specific island in Italy that's being overran. And all of this is going on all over the world, guys. And it reeks of the elites, George Soros, whoever it is, running this gamut of having migrants run rampant in every first world country, or rich country that is, to make it just as bad as them. Because New York City is turning into a third world nation. Right now, guys, you can walk outside, anywhere you are, and you see a moped zipping around. You'll see a migrant or two on a moped. How did they get that moped? Who the hell knows? They either bought it or stole it. In a lot of the cases, they stole it, but they are buying them because those mopeds are super cheap. And not Vespas, because Vespas are expensive. They're buying these cheap, crap mopeds. Anyway, they are continuing or raising the crime rate. Now, there was an article that I read that said the migrant crime wave is not adding to crime or making it go up, or something in that regard. And I was like, wait, what? And that we're getting the data wrong. Oh, sorry, that's what it was. It was that the migrant crime is going up, but there's no data to support it. Fucko. Who needs data to support it when you could walk outside and watch migrants doing these very things? In fact, there's a fight club in Queens at a hotel where migrants are fighting out in the open in a parking lot, gloves on. That's a crime because that's illegal, something or another. So, still, migrants are doing all kinds of illegal shit. Guys, they're bringing every illegal idea that they were doing down in wherever the fuck they're from and bringing it up here and doing it up here. And they know that they're not going to get in trouble. They know that the cops are going to arrest them, and they're going to get kicked loose in an hour or so. In some cases, maybe the next day. Depends on if it's at night or not. This, like I said, is only going to get worse. Now, my tip for a lot of New Yorkers or anybody that lives in cities like this, you're going to have to leave. This is not going to get better. This is only going to get inherently worse. It's going to get worse for the next few years. It's not going to all of a sudden stop. These mayors are not going to sit there and unleash the cops and let the cops do what cops do, and that's crack skulls and take names. They're not going to have them do that. They're going to continue having migrants come here and sheltering them. They're going to keep asking for funding from the government. This is not going to stop. So for a lot of you that are worried about your kids or your safety or whatever it is, get out. Because migrants are also raping as well. I forgot that most important part. They are raping as well. There's been an increase in in rapes. And now, to be fair, not that I'm taking away from it, but they're raping their own, but they're also raping non-migrants, if that makes any sense. And it's just getting worse. There was a student at a college that was killed, and they're not saying it was a migrant. The news is saying that he was a non-citizen. I'm pretty sure he was a migrant. But anyway, point is, guys, that this is only getting worse, and it's spreading. So, guys, for those of you that live upstate, for those of you that live on Long Island, and around the New York area, Jersey, it's spreading. It's spreading. It's going out. A disease, guys, doesn't stay in one spot. It spreads. And that's what these people are. They're diseases. They are one giant cancer that is infecting every last spot of New York that they possibly can, and they're branching out from there. I know Long Island's starting to see that effect. I know upstate New York, they're starting to see that effect as well. Jersey, Massachusetts, Boston area, they're seeing that spread. Connecticut, it's spreading out, guys. PA, Pennsylvania, it is spreading out. It is not just going to stay here. Unfortunately, guys, as it spreads, one or two things need to happen. Either we need to move or we need to handle it, because the cops are not going to handle it. They can't handle it because they're handcuffed by the politicians who are watching this get bad and just shaking their heads and going, there's nothing we can do. Oh, there's a lot we can do. As citizens, there's a lot we can do. And you know what I mean. I don't have to explain it on here. You know what I mean that we can do. We can get busy on a lot of these fuckfaces. Cops are going to have to start getting busy on these fuckfaces. There was a fight at another shelter where they were throwing shit at the cops. They were essentially throwing feet, hands, bags, whatever they had on at the cops, bottles. This is at another migrant shelter. They are getting out of control because they know that they're not going to get arrested. And instead of the 25th precinct inviting every last police officer who was available into that facility and started handing these people their asses, I don't know what happened. I think they just grabbed the one guy they were locking up and they walked out of there. So now these migrants have the entitlement that they just threw a bag, bottles, they pushed them. There was a couple hands thrown. I don't think they really connected, but still, it gave them the entitlement and the courage to do this again. Because they watched their buddies do it a couple of weeks ago to the two cops, I think that were at Times Square somewhere. They watched that mess unfold and how they got out right away. It's encouraging more migrants to do more criminalistic shit. The gangs that are now forming, the MS-13 and the Venezuela gang that are now recruiting, they're encouraging these kids by saying, you're going to get out of jail in no time. Don't worry about it. Join us. And then whatever mumbo jumbo they tell them. The cities are going to fall. These guys will own the city in another year or two, maybe less than that. This is only going to get worse, and if we don't correct it, the cops don't correct it, the politicians don't correct it, we are all up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Mark my word on that. It's only going to get worse. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Prepper channel.